What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Big Cool coming to you from Colossal Sports TV, and I'm back with the rundown. Before I get into the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on to be notified every time I upload content. Now let's get into the video. Anthony Joshua says, the longer Wilder Fury wait, I'll be tougher to beat. And let's analyze these comments, or let's read these comments, and then we'll analyze them and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on it. This is what Anthony Joshua had to say. I've got through with strength, guts, and heart. This is what he said to BBC Radio 5. I've got away with mistakes. I realized I couldn't continue my journey like that. After Klitschko, I thought, how many more fights can I have like that before the mistakes aren't there anymore? For the last 2 years, hand on heart, with my team, we spent so much time doing things outside of boxing, things that can drain me. How do we now train smart to become smarter in the ring? Less quantity, more quality. It didn't happen overnight. It has taken 2 years to implement it, and this is the first camp we are really seeing it. Look at my last fight against Alexander Povetkin. I was ill, tired, had a flu, had a headache. I was going through changes. It will be interesting, as this is the first time I can express these things. The longer Wilder and Fury leave it, the tougher it will be for them, as I am not the same fighter 2 years ago. Give me another year or two and I'll develop that a little bit more. So that's what Anthony Joshua had to say. And honestly, I can't say I disagree with him. If he is indeed getting better, he did look solid against Alexander Povetkin, but this is something new to me. He just said he had the flu, a headache, he wasn't feeling well. So that might be explained why he was looking a little sickly. But if these new apparent changes that he's implemented in this training camp previously, preparing for Jarrell Big Baby Miller, but now Andy Ruiz Jr., if he indeed shows some different, more fluidity in his movement, not to be so, stiff and robotic when he comes in, and show a little more bounce, and, show some improvements defensively, then, of course, it's going to be difficult for Wilder and Fury to defeat this man. But still, these are guys who are skilled in different ways. Anthony Joshua has learned a lot going through the fire he went through with Vladimir Klitschko, a future Hall of Famer, all-time great. He got put on his ass and was hurt during that fight. Although he did, drop Klitschko 3 times, he had to go through hell to do that. And that kind of can put things in perspective, like he just said in his interview with the BBC Radio 5. It make you think, like, damn, I don't want to continue taking that punishment. I don't want to continue to make those silly mistakes that are going to further put me in a vulnerable position to not longer be the champion that I am and that I want to continue to be. So I need to really analyze things, make improvements where they need to be, and just continue to get better and focus in on, the things I need to do to continue to, hold on to the goal I got, or hold on to what I have and obtain even more. And, I'm interested in seeing how he looks come June 1st against Andy Ruiz, a late replacement who is a talented fighter in his own right. And I'll do some video on him and his chances against Anthony Joshua later this week. But Anthony Joshua is right. The longer that Wilder waits, he's 33 years old. The longer Tyson Fury waits, because he's unpredictable outside of the ring. We don't know if he's going to fall back until, into some, dark spaces. I hope that he doesn't. But as long as those guys continue to put off the fight, the harder it is. And the same can be said for, Wilder and Tyson Fury. Those guys have aspirations to improve, especially as the stakes get higher and higher. But Anthony Joshua is definitely right. It'll be tougher to beat him because he's 28, 29 years old. He hasn't even really hit his prime yet. Heavyweights hit their prime later, than guys at smaller weight division. So if he's going to really become the fighter that he's proclaiming that he already is, that we haven't seen, in this training camp, it's going to make things scary, because he's already a guy that has really good fundamentals. He's technically sound. He has a good jab when he uses it. a big right hand, a big left hook, and he is one of the rare, body punchers in the heavyweight division. And although he's been knocked down once in his career, he's shown to be very resilient, very determined, to have a big heart to overcome, the adversities that he faces in that ring. So I look forward to seeing how he looks and how he has improved in some of the things that he's added to his arsenal come June 1st against Andy Ruiz, where he makes his professional stateside debut. Next up, Callum Smith's trainer embraces a Canelo Alvarez showdown. Joe Gallagher is his trainer. We know that Callum Smith is the WBA super middleweight champion, and his name was mentioned by Oscar De La Hoya as a possible September opponent for Canelo Alvarez, who unified three of the four middleweight titles this past weekend, where he took Daniel Jacobs' IBF middleweight title. But this is what Gallagher had to say. It was interesting that they put Callum Smith's name into the hat. I was surprised that they wanted to. I know they want to make history, and they dipped their toes in at 168 before when they fought Rocky Fielding. They must be fancying moving up again, but that's music to our ears. We welcome Canelo Alvarez moving up and fighting Callum Smith. They are saying they are willing to come to the UK. I know they are saying Wembley, but I would love to see that at Anfield. Anfield will be absolutely packed to the rafters for that, and I just think that it ticks all the boxes. We would welcome Canelo Alvarez if he wants to come over to the UK and fight. Yes, Callum Smith is the man to accommodate him. Can you imagine that? Callum Smith walking out to You'll Never Walk Alone against Canelo Alvarez. That's going to be some atmosphere, but there's a long way to go. So we know Canelo Alvarez did indeed go up to 168 last December to face Callum Smith, victim, Rocky Fielding, and he beat the fuck out of him. It was easy. He whooped his ass. Fielding didn't even really put up any effort whatsoever to try to win this fight or at least make it competitive. He got whitewashed, and now Canelo Alvarez is feeling a little confident. He feel like, yeah, I can do this. I beat the hell out of this B- C+ fighter, and with Rocky Fielding, hell, I can do it against Callum Smith. And I say, hold on, young fella. Wow, you are a great fighter, all time great. My new pound for pound #1 guy in the sport. I don't think it'll be easy. It won't be easy at all. Callum Smith is a very good fighter. He's tall, he's much taller, has the longer reach, and he's a guy that really doesn't get too much out of his comfort zone. He's very methodical. He's very direct in the game plan. Has some power to it in his punches. He's good fundamentally. So it's a reason why a lot of people feel like, besides David Benavidez, that he's the best at 168 and could unify that whole division. So I would love to see the fight, just not next. I want to see Canelo Alvarez versus Dimitri Andrade, so we can see another undisputed champion. However way it goes, that's neither interest of mine. I just want to see a huge stake fight at 160 for all the titles. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that fight happens next. But if it doesn't happen, Callum Smith would definitely be a fight I would prefer, because I don't want to see a rubber match between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin. And I would be interested in Sergey Kovalev, but he got bigger fish, literally and figuratively, to fry at 175. And the likes of Arthur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol, and Alexander Gavazic. So, I think that it will be a good fight. I think that Smith possesses some real deal threats to Canelo Alvarez, but I think that he got some things to take care of before he goes up to 168 to take on a big dog in Callum Smith, who is no Rocky Fielding whatsoever. Next up, Dimitri Bivol is waiting on Marcus Browne. Not thinking about Arthur Beterbiev. And I'm like, whoa, Marcus Browne. I understand that he's the WBA secondary light heavyweight champion, but You got a chance to become a unified champion. Why the fuck are you worried about Marcus Browne? Why? I don't understand it. This is what I don't like. I don't like that shit. And let me read his comments first before I put both feet in his ass. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what he said. For the next fight, it's unlikely that Beterbiev will be a consideration. We are awaiting a decision on the mandatory challenger, who is Marcus Browne, and there is no news as of yet. Okay. I see that, but it doesn't matter. Even if Marcus Browne is major mandatory, unification bouts trump mandatories 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. I mean, so what's the cause for pause? Arthur Beterbiev is a guy who is 34 years old. He's 14-0 with 14 knockouts. Just defeated Hot Rod this past weekend by 5th round knockout. The guy is a beast. He's freakishly strong. He's flawed, but he's dangerous because he has that one punch power in both hands. You know what I'm saying? And for Dimitri Bivol, a guy who I think probably is the best at 175, to say that he's not, thinking of Arthur Beterbiev next is kind of like, what? It takes the air out of the balloon. It's like, really? Like, you really gonna say that? But I mean, that's how it is with these fighters, man. These fighters have that mentality that they say one thing and then their actions lead to another. There's no way in hell that we shouldn't be getting some big fights at 175. I'm not knocking Marcus Browne, who is a good fighter. He dominated damn, I can't think of my man's name. He dominated my man from Floyd. I don't know why I'm having a fucking a brain fart. Y'all know who I'm talking about, who beat Anthony Durrell and should have beat Badu Jack. He dominated Badu Jack and gave him a nasty cut. So he a good fighter, can punch. He a former 2012 Olympian. You know what I'm saying? He was on that team with Errol Spence. He's a good fighter, good puncher. But I mean, he can wait. He can wait. If you want to make a fight with Arthur Beterbiev or Alexander Gavazic or Sergey Kovalev, these mugs that are not champions can wait and fight somebody else. Simple as that. I mean, I understand that you're with the zone and everything, but I mean, shit. Eddie Hearn just made an offer to Jose Ramirez, the WBC junior welterweight champion, for a fight with his fighter Maurice Hooker, who is the WBO junior welterweight champion. So don't say that the fights can't work and can't be made. You don't want it to be made. I mean, look, Marcus Browne about to fight John Pascal. Like, I mean, who gives a fuck? That's next month. He fighting him next month, dude. You can go ahead and get that fight cracking with Beterbiev or any other light heavyweight champion. Shit. And around August, September, and then next month or whatever, or next year, you can satisfy that mandatory. But I mean, this is crazy. The light heavyweight division need to wake up, man. They need to wake up, shake up, and fight each other, because that division has a history of being, you had Roy Jones, you had Antonio Tarver, Glenn Johnson, some other guys. You heard Andre Ward briefly. You had the run of Bernard Hopkins, John Pascal, Chad Dawson. So I mean, look, the division has been decent, but this time right here, they have a chance to be excellent. 4 terrific fighters: Sergey Kovalev, a big puncher; Arthur Beterbiev, a big puncher; Gavazic is a really good boxer who can punch. You got Dimitri Bivol, who can box and punch. Athletic. So I don't know what the holdup is on why these fights are taking so long to happen, but I don't like that. And exactly. And then you got Marcus Browne, who is in position where he can already go for that fight, but he's electing to fight John Pascal. So I mean, shit, if that's what he wanted to do, instead of fighting you, where he's the the WBA regular champion, that's on him. I wouldn't be worried about that. I'm looking at greener pastures. I'm looking at big bucks. I'm looking at legacy enhancing fights that's gonna get me closer to being a Hall of Famer, an all-time great. And currently, Marcus Browne doesn't do that for you. He would be a respectable name because you got to defeat the contenders just like you got to defeat the champions. But if he's electing to go look at somewhere else, then you need to try to get your promoter on the phone and see if they can work out a deal with any of the other 3 champions in the division. But those are my thoughts, man. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Shout out to the movement and everybody that is moving with us. Be sure to check out 3kingsboxing.com for your latest and greatest updated, unfiltered, and unbiased boxing news and information reported the way it should be. Until next time, I am out. Peace.